All right, we're sitting here with a group that is now called MDC, which stands for
Millions of Dead Cops.
Okay, and they used to be the Stains from Austin, Texas, who put out that great single "Born to Die" and "John Wayne Was a Nazi," and they've now relocated in the San Francisco area. Welcome.
Here we are home. Here we are. At home with Tim.
Yeah, they stayed at my house, literally. Okay, so you guys have an album coming out soon, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so people all around the country are going to be able to be exposed to your ideas. And on that first song that we played, Corporate Death Burger, that's one of the songs on the album. Why don't you briefly try and tell us what you're trying to get across in that?
Well, we're trying to get across the fact that there's millions of people starving in the world, and it's just a joke. It's thinking that feeding meat to everybody's going to solve the problem, because mainly most of the grain that's produced in this country is fed to cattle, which is indirectly then fed to the people. And it'd be more...
They try to make it look attractive, you know? They try to make it look pretty. You look on TV and there's some clown telling you to shove a hamburger down your face.
And this is a supposed Christian country with all the right leanings, you know, to do what's best for the world, and it's hypocrisy.
Well, no, in what sense, in other words, why don't you explain, like, in other words, why is it
hypocritical?
Yeah.
Well, you have a nation here, you know, that says it's a Christian nation, and corporations and people are in control, and they're just concerned with profits and to keep their whole industry alive and growing and booming, and for that they have to take their grain and feed it to the cows, which in turn is fed to the American public. Meanwhile,
a lot of suffering involved in that industry, and they make it look very pleasant. It's all suffering.
Come on,
you know, they murder cows. Have you ever been to a slaughterhouse?
Well, wait. In other words, what you have against eating meat is that
this is the corporate thing that's in this whole country, that's happening in the whole world, and they've psychologically got you and say, here, you know, they even get you at Saturday morning if you watch kids' cartoons, Ronald McDonald, French Fry Land, and, you know, save up your money and go down there and buy, you know, quarter pounders. And what's happening is, you know, places like Ethiopia, Bangladesh, places where the food really could be going and making a dent into starvation. They're
50,000 people starving a day.
Profit motive, and they say it's inefficient to transport this grain across while there's grain rotting in silos. And it's just inefficient for their profit margins.
So what you're saying is that if you took the amount of grain that was spent to fatten cows,
for McDonald's, you could feed India.
The protein that would come out of that meat is not anywhere near as high as if you took that grain.
It's 1/10 or 1/20th less.
UN documents die for a small planet.
And they're concerned in serving 1 billion people a day when there's 50,000 people starving a day. You know.
Yeah, starving to death a day.
Malnutrition.
You aren't being heard at all. You're going to have to move right over here.
That's not the only direction of our record either, you know. We're not the vegetarian
That's one of 14 songs.
We just try to make statements that have to be said, that somebody has to say, you know. It isn't pretty and attractive and plastic chairs and their fake shakes and all that garbage. I mean,
and in this fast food culture of me generation, of everyone just driving, it seems like no one's even considering the fact what's happening. You know, just like when people watch John Wayne, like, you know, and watch him kill Indians, you start rooting and cheering, you know, and you get caught up in the scam, in the story, you know, and all the lies. And the lies are just what we're saying, you know, they should be feeding more people in the world and blowing off their profits, and, you know, a Christian nation, you know, that's trying to work together to go into the 21st century. It's not happening. The end is near.
It's like nobody sees the relationship between what they eat and how it affects the rest of the world. Yeah.
Really, just buy it in a little package and forget about the process.
By the way, are there any books or literature that people might look into that would give them some information on the subject?
It's
Buy
kind
our
of
album.
buy our album, buddy.
I'll tell you all about it.
Millions of dead cops.
All right.
Starve the police, not the children.
All right. So what?
The last three lines of the song are, you say, Christian, but you're a fake. Multinationals on the take. Starving children deserve a break today. And that sums up pretty much, you know, where it's coming from.
Okay. What are some of the other themes you guys deal with?
There's Born to Die, which is on our record, which is about the Klan, and we're from Texas, where the Klan means, you know, the police are the Klan. They will tell you, you know, it's no, you know, hidden under thing that all this fascism and everything goes on in Texas. You know, and
a cop gets fired and there's a Klan demonstration the next day out there supporting him. There was the incident that was big last year in Galveston in the port areas involving the Vietnamese fishermen. And it was just real ugly, and the Klan, even right in Austin where we were based, they have a National Association for the Advancement of White People, and they're there and they're growing, they're feeling more cocky than ever. That's just another one of the themes of our songs. We relate up dead cops, you know, which is kind of like a, you know, it's kind of a fantasy idea, but the whole idea that there's been millions of corrupt, ugly policemen who have enforced an ugly, brutal system.
Everybody's been screwed around by the police at one point or another, had your dignity flushed down the toilet for whatever reason by some imbecile who couldn't make it anywhere else. So they, you know, it takes a certain mentality to be a policeman, especially an L.A. policeman, which is probably the worst we've seen. You know,
and it's not just
San Francisco's not far behind.
And it's not just the police; it's the military too behind it all. You know, it's a police
They're
state.
enforcers. They're sandmen.
It's defending the rich. You know.
They say they're protecting the people, but they're really the army of the rich, repressing the poor people.
Okay.
And another song's "Business on Parade," which is the Ronald Reagan administration. It's James Watt and the whole idea that you know, they're gonna sell the land off to pay for all the missiles. It's like selling the farm to pay for the crop.
Like the land would be obsolescent in 30 years instead of them, you know, whatever they're going to build.
Everything's for short range now. I think they're filling this world through paranoia, and we're against all the military build-up. We're an anti-fascist, anti-war group, and more of the messages on our record reflect on that. Then we have we have other songs like "Pathetic and Greedy," which is pretty much a hate rich people song.
Hate the Landlord song, which everybody's got their Hate the Landlord song. When we got ours too, and we hate the landlord, we're gonna blow up his car. We're gonna do anything.
And we got a Church and State, which is just how, you know, seems like from when you're 4 or 5, you're indoctrinated with the church and the state telling you everything's okay, do it for this reason, die in a war, do it for your God, do it for your homeland, and it's bull. You know, we really just think people got to get together and be one on the whole planet, or they're gonna blow it up, and it's coming.
Yeah, it does seem to be coming to a head, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you know, and there's just so much distrust in the government. It's just every day you read in the paper, you know what it's like to read about Central America and stuff. You're just wondering when they're going to dispatch American troops and how much further we're going to go with the charade.
We've got 2 songs also that are in the first person. One of them is called American Achievements. It's all about a kid raised in an institution, and part of it goes on through all the hell he goes through in this institution just because he was born into some unfortunate circumstance, got dumped on the state and treated like hell. And then he grows up, and hopefully things are going to be better, but they ain't better. And the last line is, "There's no God in heaven, so get off your knees." And with that, the needle will play into the middle of the record.
And that's our hope message for the world, just that don't depend on anything in this sky.
Don't wait for the pie in the sky.
Don't depend on anything except yourself to make things better. And though, you know, we have nihilistic tones, you know, we try to put in a lot of positive energy into it. We're not just, you know, want to just die and roll over with it. You know, it's all disgusting. I don't want to get out of my sheets. We're trying to do something through a band, and we're hoping more people catch on. So if there is any kind of chance, you know, it can be staved off. You know, a war, a total nuclear fallout, whatever.
The Bad Brains who played out here recently obviously picked up on some of your positive feeling there because they want to help release your record, right?
Yeah, they're real good brothers. We just met them really for the first time, though. Al and I saw them Christmas. They picked up on some of the vibration they were coming from, just on some of the songs and themes we were talking about. They're non-meat eaters, and they you know, they're a black band, and they're against the Klan, and they feel the same way about the corporate state, and
they're against boundaries too. That's just going to keep us apart when trouble starts.
They're against senseless violence also.
Okay. And you could have been against this stuff. It's sort of a positive attitude because it's the negative stuff that you're against, you know. But somehow it just comes deeper from us to talk about against the things that we hate rather than say, oh, everything's fine, everybody dance.
Well, maybe that's the next stage, is after we define what we don't like, work to build, you know, the alternative. All right, listen, we're going to hear something else from your album now. What is this we're going to hear?
Dead Cops.
All right. All right, that was Dead Cops, and what's the name of that thing in between there?
America So Straight.
America So Straight.
Kind of a
Okay. It's a Dead Cop sandwich. All right.